Hello and welcome, my Pontiac High School students. Today we are going to be looking at citizenship in the United States of America. First, who is a citizen? Well, citizens are individuals that have particular rights and duties under a government. Later on, we're going to look at some of those rights and duties, but today we're going to focus on the individual. Now, in the United States, we define a citizen as somebody who fulfills one of four prerequisites. Number one, they are born within the United States or its territories. Now, this is the most common way that somebody becomes a citizen. They're simply born in the United States or in a U.S. territory. That makes you a citizen, regardless of anything else. Number two, at least one of your parents is a U.S. citizen. So if your father is a U.S. citizen and travels to a foreign country and meets your mother and you are the product of their union, that makes you a U.S. citizen under U.S. law because your father was a U.S. citizen. Number three, you have become naturalized. That is your choice to become an American citizen. You've gone through a process. You weren't born a U.S. citizen, but you went through this process and you legally became a citizen. Or number four, your parents were naturalized before you were 18. So if you are 12 years old and your parents decide to go through the process of naturalization, that is, your parents become U.S. citizens, then you also become a U.S. citizen as a member of their family. So those are the four ways to do it. Most of you got this citizenship simply by being born in the United States. Now, naturalization. Naturalization means that you go through the process of becoming a citizen, that you follow these steps. And we'll go over those steps in a moment. But until an individual is naturalized, the residents of the United States are referred to as aliens. So if you are not a U.S. citizen, but you are living in the United States, you are classified as an alien. And no, these are not the little green men from Mars. We call them aliens based upon this term, not the other way around. Aliens are simply those who live in this country, but who are not citizens of this country. Now, naturalized citizens, to become naturalized, an alien must do several things, among which are learn United States history, learn English, and learn a number of the basic duties and responsibilities of American citizens. We'll be going through a lot of that again in this lesson and the next. They also must swear an oath of loyalty to the United States. This is the final step in that naturalization process. Once you have learned English, you learned basic U.S. history, you know your duties and responsibilities, your last step is then to swear an oath of loyalty to the U.S. So what is that process? Well, the naturalization process includes three main steps. There's an application process, an examination process, and then a final hearing to determine whether or not you can become a citizen. The application process. An applicant must submit that application to the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, the USCIS, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. So if you want to go through this process, or if your parents want to go through this process, or family, friends, or whomever, this is where you have to go to get the ball rolling. The examination is the next step. An applicant must prove that they qualify to be a U.S. citizen. Applicants must be 18 years or older. You cannot apply for citizenship if you are 16. That would be up for your parents to do. You have to have lived legally in the United States for at least 5 years. So this makes it difficult for illegal aliens, people who have come into the country illegally, to obtain citizenship. They have to have legal status in the country for at least 5 years. They have to have a clean criminal record, that is, no felonies. It doesn't mean you can't get a parking ticket, but it does mean that you can't commit any serious crimes. You have to be able to read, speak, and write in English, and you have to demonstrate basic knowledge of U.S. history and U.S. government. Those are the basic things that you need to know. We learn those here in this U.S. government and our U.S. history classes, so every graduate of American high school would meet these requirements for basic knowledge. But there are these other components as well. Okay, the final hearing. After passing the examination, the applicant must stand before a judge and swear an oath of loyalty to the United States. This is something that is required of all naturalized citizens, although interestingly not required of people who are naturally born citizens. Only those who get naturalized must swear this oath of loyalty. All right, the office of citizen. The U.S. government functions by the consent of the governed. We have that phrase right there in our founding documents, the consent of the governed. That is, we the people. Now, we must all follow the actions of our government to ensure that they are acting in our best interest. So paying attention to politics, paying attention to government at all levels, your city government, your state government, your national government, is an essential responsibility of what we do as citizens. We do this so that we can vote. It is impossible for most individuals to keep up with all that our government is involved in. So we do elect representatives who promise and swear to do this on our behalf. So it's not our job to follow all of the ins and outs of government. It is our job to make sure that we're electing people who can best represent our interests when they are following all the ins and outs of government and trying to pass laws that will have an impact, hopefully a positive impact, on us, the citizens. All citizens 18 and older are responsible for the selection of these representatives. So you do have to be 18 years old or older, and you do have to be a U.S. citizen. But if you have those two qualifications in place, then you get to select our representatives who form our laws, who lead our country, and respond to our wishes. All right, so that is what it means to be a citizen. We'll be looking more into the duties and responsibilities of citizens soon. Thank you for joining me today. Hope you learned something, and farewell.